Mindanao, Jimenez, Tamis, at dito sila nagtagpo sa Manila. And when they had their first child, rapha-El, I did not forget the time that I first saw the boy. Talagang oligaryo. In fact, the oligaryo influence has retained in me. No? You can ask Jen, no? Because minsan nakatawag ko siya Mr. Oligaryo. Pamangkin ni Kaul. Dahil, ano nga malakas ang effect. And I could not forget those times that we spent together. Many trips. And I saw rapha-El himself grow up from a young child, a young boy. And, he was very, very, I would say, filled with life. Of course, I think for many of you who knew him from the time he was young, he was already big and stocky. And I could describe him as pag tahimik siya, mukhang himig, mukhang mother side. Pero pag medyo may kaunting boisterousness, mukhang this is not I'm not trying to put one over the other, but he really is a person bursting with life and zeal. And as we come tonight here, we are always reminded to put life in perspective. Because even though there is what seemingly is called death, merong nawala sa ating minamahal natin. There is the pain because there is love. There is the sorrow and grief. And yet, the beauty of the Christian gospel shows to us the hope that we have. The living hope that in spite of the sufferings we go through in life in this world, there is a constant ascension to the throne of God. In fact, the past few weeks is a very good testimony of this. With the events that happened in Marawi during that week, the earthquake, particularly in Zambales and Metro Manila, and then other events that took place, the Resorts World, and another bombing in London, the Ariana Grande or situation in Manchester. Lahat po ito nangyayari. Lingid sa isip ng karamihan, that was the week of the Ascension, the feast of the Ascension, when Christ ascended to the heavens, as if to proclaim to us who believe sa kabila ng mga bagay at pagsusubok ng buhay, hindi nawawala ang Panginoong Diyos sa lahat ng ito. Question maybe that one we have is there is a God, why are there these sufferings and pain and trials and situations? I will not try to say that I know all the answers, because I don't. But I all know that in the midst of all this, God continues to transform grief and sorrow into joy. He continues to give hope to the hopeless, to those despairing. He continues to bring love in the midst of hatred and strife. And this is the gospel that we see every time. That Christianity brings what we saw in our readings today. The first reading was about a lavish banquet that will be prepared for all time. The hope that we all have. And then we have there the second reading, which John said, we will see him face to face. And we will behold him as we are, because we will be like him. And in our gospel today, read, we see how Jesus Christ himself declares that those, even though we die, we live. There is always a constant reminder to us to lift up our hearts. And for those of us who go to the Roman Church, we always are reminded of that during the Great Thanksgiving. Lift up your hearts and respond. We lift them up to the Lord. Because Christianity is a life of transformation. It does not deny the pain and the sorrow. It does not try to close its eyes to the hurts of people. What it does is it brings a new dimension to all of these things. Because the gospel of Calvary and the cross of Christ is a gospel of the resurrection, which happened 3 days later. He did not stay dead, he lived, and he lives forevermore. And for every Christian, that is the faith that we must constantly remind ourselves of. We must never forget that in the midst of all this suffering and pain, there is always a living hope that we have been born again to. St. Peter, in one of the most cruel times of the Roman Empire, and many other apostles of our Lord who lived during that time of persecution, their constant cry was, Jesus is alive, and He is alive forever. And this is the hope that we would like to share and leave with us today. Huwag po natin pumabayaan at binitawan ang ating pananampalataya. Dahil sa Kanya lang po tayo may pag-asa. Bagamat may mga bagay na nangyayari sa ating paligid, hindi na kanais-nais, mayroong mga bagay na nakalulungkot. Bakit isang 30 anyos na isang lalaki na malaki pa ang kinabukasan, may mga anak, ay biglang bumatay. Sa kabila ng lahat ng yan, nandiyan po ang magandang balita ng Panginoon. Ang pag-asang nais na ihatid sa atin. Yun po ang pag-asang nais kong iwan sa atin ngayon. Tayo po ang magdadala patuloy ng buhay na dapat. Ano man ang mga bagay na maaaring pangarapan ng mga magulang, ng asawa, mga anak, mga kapatid niya, mga kamag-anakan, mga kaibigan, mga kasama, tayo po ngayon ang magiging Panginoon. We will bring the torch of life. The life of rapha-El and many other countess who passed away and went ahead. Because we have a great hope. A great God who is good. That is the message the gospel brings.